Picture this. You've got the pristine graduation ceremony. The valedictorian steps across the stage, a gold medal resting perfectly around their neck, holding an absolutely immaculate report card. The applause is deafening. But the moment they step off that stage and push through the doors into the fast-paced, totally unpredictable chaos of a modern startup, that applause fades into a chaotic hum. Suddenly, projects are failing. Priorities are literally shifting by the minute. Coworkers are solving incredibly complex problems completely without a rulebook. Out of nowhere, being perfect just isn't enough. So, what happens when the perfect student meets the unpredictable real world?
Well, the data reveals a pretty shocking reality right out of the gate. A recent meta-analysis published in the Journal of Applied Psychology showed that academic indicators, things like your GPA or your class rank, explain only about 4 to 5% of actual job performance. Just let that sink in for a second. Up to 96% of what makes someone successful in their career has absolutely nothing to do with their grades.
Why top students fail in real life. In this explainer, we're diving deep into the stark and honestly kind of dark disconnect between the structured halls of academia and the messy, high-stakes reality of the modern workplace. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at what schools are actually teaching beneath the surface. Back in 1970, an MIT psychiatrist named Dr. Benson R. Snyder coined this brilliant concept, the hidden curriculum. He noticed that as academic workloads got insanely crowded, schools were unintentionally teaching students to act strategically just to cope. Students were basically learning to take shortcuts, guess what would be on the test, and navigate these unstated social norms, rather than developing deep independent thought.
And, as you might guess, this environment conditions a very specific type of person. Karen Arnold, a researcher at Boston College who extensively studied valedictorians, really hit the nail on the head. She said, school teaches you to comply with rules. Valedictorians support the system, they don't change it. Schooling inherently rewards obedience, it rewards predictable outcomes. So we're effectively training our very top students to just be exceptional rule followers, mastering a closed, artificial system.
So, the crucial point is this creates a massive fracture between two totally distinct worlds. Think about it. In school, you're handed a syllabus and really clear rubrics. It's like following a map. You know your exact destination and exactly how to get an A. But step into the modern office, it is a landscape of profound ambiguity. You're forced to make these fast-paced decisions with incomplete information. There are no clear instructions, and honestly, office politics often completely outweigh textbook logic.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really dangerous psychological trap for high achievers, maladaptive perfectionism. In high-stakes fields, like law, for example, where the margin for error is razor thin, the pursuit of excellence can morph into an intense, paralyzing fear of missing the bullseye. For a top student, a mistake isn't seen as just a learning opportunity. It's felt as a crushing, monumental personal failure.
Now, let me give you a crazy plot twist. In a pilot study of private practice lawyers, the data revealed a staggering toll. A full 50% of lawyers with high perfectionistic tendencies showed elevated symptoms of depression. 50%. Compare that to just 7% among those with low perfectionism. It's a massive divide, and it's totally fueled by this exhausting, unattainable ideal of flawlessness.
The professional fallout for these perfectionists when they enter the workforce is severe. They often suffer from what's called perfectionist paralysis, spending excessive amounts of time worrying about a task without actually starting it. They drown in the details. They completely fail to delegate because, in their minds, no one else can meet their standards. Ultimately, they just burn out much faster, staying at their firms for an average of only 5.3 years compared to 8.4 years for their peers who aren't quite as perfection-driven.
Part 1. The Cognitive Divide.
First up, we have convergent thinking. Now, this is exactly what schools train us to do. It's the process of taking a ton of information and narrowing it all down to a single, logical, well-defined answer. Picture a student filling in a multiple-choice exam. There is one correct bubble to fill, and your only job is to find it quickly. It heavily values structure and leaves absolutely zero room for ambiguity. But here's the catch. The real world demands divergent thinking. This is your ability to generate multiple creative solutions through brainstorming. It's about taking risks, making mistakes, and expanding possibilities when you're facing open-ended challenges. Entrepreneurs, innovators, and adaptable professionals, they thrive on divergent thinking because, let's be real, life rarely ever offers a neat A, B, C, or D option. Think about it like the broken copier test. It's highly relatable. If the office copier breaks,
A purely convergent thinker expects a clear, linear solution. They just call the technician to fix it and wait. But a divergent thinker? They step back and assess the root cause. They might check YouTube for a quick DIY fix, or maybe crowdsource a solution by messaging the team, evaluating multiple creative angles before they even act.
Part 2. The unconventional winners.
Get ready for a massive pattern interrupt. Consider this really jarring statistic. The average college GPA of American millionaires is just 2.9. Not a 4.0, not a 3.5, a 2.9.
So why is that? It's because these 2.9 average millionaires succeed by leaning heavily on grit over grades. While top students excel at conscientiousness within a highly controlled environment, these unconventional winners stick to long-term goals despite massive setbacks. They have a total willingness to break rules outside the closed system of education. They understand that since the real world's rules aren't clear anyway, a little bit of calculated rule-breaking is actually highly advantageous. We also see this playing out vividly with neurodivergent innovators, specifically those identified as twice exceptional, or 2E. This is a really fascinating profile describing individuals who possess incredible giftedness alongside a neurodivergent trait, like ADHD or autism spectrum disorder. They embody this wild duality of massive potential paired with unique challenges that standardized schooling often completely misunderstands.
It creates what's called a spiky profile. 2E individuals pair extreme strengths, things like penetrating insight, highly advanced vocabulary, and sophisticated problem-solving, with what society typically sees as deficits, like poor organizational skills or high impulsivity. In a strict classroom with rigid rubrics, they might just be unfairly labeled as not trying hard enough. But in a dynamic, fast-paced startup environment, their big-picture divergent thinking can literally change the world.
Part 3. Rewriting the rules.
If you want to survive the stress of this transition from top student to effective professional, you have to master navigating the unknown. First, you must start setting your own goals, instead of waiting for a syllabus to tell you what matters. Second, flex your independence. Stop going to your managers with wide-open questions. Instead, bring proposed solutions. And third, proactively seek out feedback. There are no automatic semester grades at work, so you have to regularly ask for constructive criticism yourself.
And listen, if you were a former straight-A student, you really need to hear this. Simply executing assigned tasks flawlessly is no longer enough. The extra credit is now the baseline. Success today requires self-advocacy, networking across departments, and identifying opportunities that no one else even sees. Your hard work does not just speak for itself anymore. You have to step up and actively amplify your own impact.
Ultimately, the real drivers of long-term achievement are fundamentally human traits that just aren't easily graded on a curve. It's about learning agility. How fast can you unlearn something and adapt? It's your emotional intelligence and your ability to navigate complex office politics. It's absolute resilience in the face of failure. And crucially, it's your ability to operate effectively without a clear roadmap.
I want to leave you with a really profound thought to chew on. The real world doesn't reward who follows instructions the best. It rewards those who can adapt when there are no instructions at all. Take a hard look at your own approach to success right now. Are you still waiting for a rubric, or are you finally ready to write your own rules?